Imagine a world suddenly plunged into complete and utter darkness, where the familiar hum of electricity has simply ceased to exist. No internet to connect you, no lights to guide you, and absolutely no way to charge the device you rely on for everything. What if every single electrical device on Earth didn't just flicker, but stopped working entirely? Not for an hour, but for 30 long days. This isn't a sci-fi movie scene. It is a chilling possibility that would dismantle the very fabric of our modern existence in seconds. Prepare to witness a timeline of collapse, from the moment the lights go out to the terrifying struggle for survival 1 month later. It begins with a silent unplugging on day 1, a moment where the constant background noise of civilization is instantly replaced by a deafening silence. You reach for your phone to check the news, but the screen is dead, black and cold, refusing to respond to your desperate touch. Outside your window, the streetlights are dark, and the frantic blending of confused traffic lights signals the beginning of a massive transportation nightmare. At first, there is a wave of collective denial as people mutter about a blown transformer or a temporary grid failure, expecting power soon. But as minutes turn into hours, the realization hits that emergency services aren't coming because their dispatch systems and vehicles are dead. In a world where the modern economy crashes in mere minutes, credit card terminals freeze, ATMs go dark, and stock markets are paralyzed by the outage. By the end of the first day, the sun sets on a world darker than it has been for over a century. Moving into week 1, the rapid regression of society begins, as the immediate scramble for basic necessities turns neighborhoods into battlegrounds. Tap water stops flowing as the massive electric pumps that drive municipal water systems fail, leaving millions thirsty and panicked. Refrigeration units in homes and grocery stores shut down, causing megatons of fresh food to spoil and rot within just a few days. A frantic race begins for non-perishable canned goods and bottled water, stripping supermarket shelves bare in a matter of violent hours. Communication completely breaks down, with cell towers dead and internet servers offline. You are suddenly isolated, unaware of the world beyond your street. Families are torn apart by silence, unable to call loved ones, leaving everyone to wonder if they are the only ones surviving this nightmare. As the sun sets on the first week, the thin veneer of civility erodes, and looting becomes a primary method of survival for many. The unlit streets become dangerous territories, where law enforcement is non-existent, and darkness provides cover for those desperate enough to take what they need. Week 2 reveals the unforgiving landscape, where the consequences of a power-free world turn from inconvenient to deadly for the most vulnerable. Hospitals become houses of tragedy, as backup generators run dry, causing life support machines and incubators to fail one by one. Surgeries become impossible in the pitch black, and manageable conditions like diabetes become fatal sentences without refrigerated insulin or monitoring equipment. Transportation has ground to a complete halt. Electric trains are stranded in tunnels, and millions of vehicles are useless without fuel pumps working. The skies are eerily empty, the war of jet engines silenced, as the global supply chain that feeds the world is completely severed. A sanitation crisis explodes as modern waste disposal systems cease to function, piling garbage and sewage in the streets of major cities. The smell of decay mixes with the smoke of unregulated fires, creating a toxic environment that threatens to unleash disease outbreaks everywhere. By week 3, the fight for survival has fundamentally changed us, forcing humanity to adapt to a primitive existence we thought we left behind. People rediscover the ancient utility of fire, using furniture and books as fuel to boil questionable water and cook whatever food remains. Manual labor, it becomes the only currency that matters, with communities bartering physical work for a mere can of beans, or even just a clean bandage. Distinct divides emerge in neighborhoods. Some organize into mutual aid groups, sharing resources and standing guard against the encroaching darkness together. Others, they descend into brutal territorialism, barricading their streets and hoarding resources, treating every stranger as a lethal threat to their very survival. Desperate inventors attempt to rig bicycle dynamos or solar panels, not to power cities, but just to spark a single battery to life. We realize, oh, how fragile we truly are, as the mighty human race is humbled by the simple absence of the electron flow we once took for granted. As we approach the month's end in week 4, the sheer scale of the catastrophe becomes a grim reality we cannot ignore. The death toll has risen sharply, not just from violence, but from simple infections, a lack of medication, starvation, and exposure to the elements. The elderly and the sick were, indeed, the first to go, leaving behind a population that is hardening into a ruthless survival mindset. Major cities have begun to empty out as people flee the concrete jungles in search of food and water in the countryside. The remnants of society are now pockets of survivors, clinging to organized groups, attempting to rebuild a semblance of order from literal scratch. Even if the power returned right now, the infrastructure is so damaged and the workforce so scattered that the lights wouldn't just turn back on. This month has created a lasting psychological impact that will haunt the survivors for the rest of their natural lives. A new generation of children is being born into a world where they might never understand the concept of a digital screen or the internet. Their understanding of normal is forever altered, shaped by the stories of the time before, when light came with the flick of a switch. We are forced to ask ourselves, are we truly the masters of this planet, or are we just parasites on a power grid? The silence of the nights is no longer scary. It is the new normal, a heavy blanket that reminds us of what we lost. If the electricity suddenly returned today, the world it illuminates would be unrecognizable, scarred by 30 days of absolute darkness and desperation. This scenario is a stark warning about the fragility of our systems and how quickly the mask of civilization can slip away. We built a world that requires power to function, but we forgot to build a backup plan for when that power fades away. So the next time you turn on a light switch, take a second to appreciate the miracle of energy flowing through those wires. Because in a world without electricity, the only power you have is the will to survive against the overwhelming odds of the dark. Could you survive a month without power, or would you be one of the casualties of the silent, dark new world? Share your survival plan in the comments below, because thinking about the unthinkable is the first step to being truly prepared. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the terrifying what-if scenarios that challenge our reality. Stay safe, stay prepared, and keep the lights on for as long as you possibly can.